And we're back. Monday, June 30th is the last day of June you're going to get
All right.
for another 11 months.
Well, that just added a ton of pressure. But
Yeah.
good thing I'm feeling up for it. Feeling good today.
We've
How are you?
passed we did this like 2 weeks ago, I think, maybe like a week and a half. The solstice, we're already past it.
Oh, yeah, the 21st. The longest day of summer gone behind us.
Okay.
But we still got like 8 p.m. sunsets, so nothing to be
Pretty sick.
worried about.
I caught a flight yesterday from San Francisco it left at 6.
In the morning?
Yeah. I left my brother's apartment at 4:30.
No thanks.
Sun wasn't there quite yet. Brutal.
Sorry that you're already feeling this whole...
I don't know why I do this to myself, but yeah. So
bad.
How many of the days of the year does Frank wake up when it's pitch black out still? And how bad is it for your health?
Can't be good. Can't be good.
It's just not how we were designed, dog.
No, I have one of those like timer lights. That's a godsend.
Okay.
But then, yeah, it's still dark outside. How was your weekend, San Francisco? Where's your disco?
It was all time. San
Weddings.
Francisco.
You love
What's your
weddings.
disco?
It's a song.
Okay. I love weddings.
What's your favorite part?
I love love.
Getting people extravagant gifts or traveling? Which one's your favorite?
I don't get people any gifts.
Okay.
Actually, this is my brother. I give people money. I am trying to incorporate every time I see the list of like, oh, we want, these like tumblers or whatever the hell these people want, which is like wild to me. It's just like, here's my Amazon wish list,
Go
daddy. I'm always looking for the QR code to just give them some Bitcoin because I got all this crypto and it's just like, I have more crypto than cash, my
Please
friend. Can
let
I
me
please
help
just
you.
give you that instead? Not there yet. We're getting there. Not there yet. I gave them money, which in this instance, honestly, I appreciated this because, like, I'm going to San Francisco, and it's like, all right, of course I haven't bought a card or gone to an ATM, which still exists, yet.
Sure.
And I'm already in San Francisco now. I'm more worried about, like, okay, what hikes can I get in? What sushi can I get in before I have to go to this wedding? And so I'm not worried about getting the cash at all. I look up the list of things. I'm like, I'll just buy one of these dumb things like an iron or whatever they want. and the first thing there, honeymoon fund, click that link, and it's literally just
Load the boat.
just send a Venmo to Matt, the guy who's getting married. And I'm like, awesome.
It's all going to the same place.
Because I was literally in my head, I'm like, can I just Venmo him money
Right.
and just be like,
Is that crass?
happy marriage, like whatever? Or yeah, is this like one of those things where it's like,
Faux pas.
no, like it's very Goodfellas style. We've got a big sack of envelopes and you have to bring an envelope and we're all going to open them at some point and be like, oh, there's Frank's name. Like, wow, what a nice guy. Wasn't
Easy.
that. So that was easy. I stayed with my brother to both visit and conserve money. If you're going to a
for
city
one.
where one of your siblings lives, just stay with them. It's cheaper that way, and they think that you're being nice, but you're really just using them. He told me that when he has to travel for a wedding, he doesn't bring a gift, which is chaotic. And now he's getting married next year, and I was like, you understand how bad you're gonna feel when all these people give you gifts.
Oh,
and
like he just doesn't even give them a...
not a cent, nothing.
But, I mean, sounds like a fun guy to have at your wedding. Might be worth it.
He will absolutely drink a lot of your booze and eat your food.
Perfect. Back in the plus column.
And might either offend or
Oh, God.
Or make like a fun personality to the olds at the wedding, to like your parents and whatever, depending on your depending on your general vibe and acceptance of homosexuality. But he won't bring a gift. Wild to me. Could never do it. But he's very confident. I feel like if you're just confident in it,
Unfortunately, you get away with it.
there's no truth.
But,
like
yeah.
his friends are like, oh yeah, that's like just Jim, and they're like totally
Aw,
okay
man.
with it. And it's like,
No.
how do I pull this off?
Well, or I hope he's inviting a ton of people who he hasn't gone to their weddings yet because he might get no gifts.
No, no, they're all married.
He's already married.
He is getting married.
Oh.
And he has not brought them gifts in the past.
So he might just get no gifts.
And they're normal people. No, they will bring him a gift, and he'll have to feel like, I mean, you got to learn one way or the other.
This is true.
You know, but the wedding was good. Big Sur, California. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
That sounds pretty glorious. I think it's been one of my Windows screensavers.
It's pretty sweet. It looks beautiful. The drive is very beautiful. My only thing with Big Sur is like the hikes.
Not it.
Mid.
Just because it's the same cliff you're walking.
It's like
along?
one of those places. I went to Arches last year, maybe the year before.
No, I think last year. Yeah.
Yeah, last spring.
Yeah.
With Callie.
Utah.
Great vacation. Went to a bunch of national parks. Arches though, beautiful, and of course you see Indiana Jones and the whatever one where.
The Lost Arch.
Joaquin Phoenix's brother is the Lost Arch, Raiders of the Lost Arch, and River Phoenix he's Indy, and he's like running around, and they're at like one of the big arches in Arches National Park. It looks beautiful, but all the hikes are like, oh, here's like a 2-mile out and back where you go see a beautiful arch, and then you come back, and it's
Thor's
like
hammer
and like
and back.
and it's basically Disney World, like. No offense to anybody's physicality or ability to hike or do whatever, but there's like a lot of people where it's like, man, you probably shouldn't be hiking. Maybe like a couple rounds around the block is what you should be doing. It's not true. I'm looking for like 7 to 12 miles, a lot of elevation, like maybe like a couple thousand feet elevation.
Have to clip in once in a while.
Yeah, a hike has to have at least 1 or 2 moments where it's like, oh man, if I mess this up, I'm tumbling down the mountain.
It would hurt
and not coming back. And none of those really in Arches
or Big Sur.
Or Big Sur. Again, very beautiful. Like it's like, oh, you hike like half a mile, and then you look out and there's like these crazy rocks that are coming out of the ocean. The waves are smashing them, and it's like that's beautiful, but like. I don't feel like I've done anything. Like I want my body to feel like it's close to expiring. But
well,
yeah,
I'm looking forward to your Everest climb. It's only going there, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
That'd be pretty cool.
But yeah, it was pretty sick. California. I also went to Point Reyes. Did some hiking in there. Elk.
Live elk. That's pretty cool.
Very beautiful.
Redwoods?
No.
Oh.
Jim was like, my brother was like, oh, let's try Point Reyes. And I was like, okay, but I really would prefer kind of like the 50 different hikes that we could do in, redwood forest. It was cool. It's apparently like thousands and probably millions, I don't know, years ago. It's like a slab of earth that was attached to Los Angeles, I think, and over millions of years. I don't know how the planet necessarily time frames, like it doesn't even matter.
Yeah,
also, if someone's like, actually, it was 400,000 years, it's like,
okay,
sweet dude.
Yesterday.
Jesus was here like 2,000 years ago. Like it's not humanity's not that long, but the Earth, has over however many years slid up to now San Francisco. And so, like, it's just weird because you cross into this little area, and, like, it is different landscape than San Francisco.
You see that little guy?
We saw a coyote. Is that a coyote? What is that guy?
Oh, these are your guys.
Yeah, those are the dudes.
The Tool elk.
It's funny that the dudes hung out with dudes, and the women hung out with women. It was like...
classic.
Yeah.
Tale as old as 400,000 years ago.
8th grade dance elk.
Okay, so this is just a slightly more interesting coastline?
Yeah, again, like, I'm not one for... Yeah, we went through that thing, whatever that ridge is. No, not that. I don't care about it.
Oh, that's a little steep.
Some man-made stuff. Next to it, that stuff. Like, hiked over that, like, area. It was cool, man. But, yeah, I'm not, like, a big site guy. I'm a big, like... I go to Barry's, dog. Like, right. I'm trying to push it. But yeah, it was a good weekend. Always good to get to California, see some mountains.
Very
And
nice.
then get back here where it's just like, if you get like onto a 4-story building, you can see like Evanston and O'Hare and like
So sick.
everything. Because this is the flattest place on earth.
Yep.
What's up with you, dude? Did you do anything sick?
Oh, legendary. I went to a concert. Went to a concert. Got
James
my hair.
Blake.
James Blake was wild. Disclosure killed.
James Blake DJ set.
Yeah, it was experimental, but
Nice.
pretty good. And then got my hair cut. Went to bottomless brunch. Then went to all you can eat sushi. And then went
Dude.
to F1 the movie. So yeah,
Oh, nice. Rank
Perfect.
them.
concert 1,
Okay.
sushi 2, F1 the movie 3, bottomless mimosas 4.
Yeah, that's good.
Is at the time, maybe I would have said 1, but
This is the best. 30 minutes later. I don't know if that champagne was very good.
no, yeah, we looked it up. They got us.
F1, is it worth seeing? The
I think
trailer
so.
was very loud when
It's-
I saw Mission Impossible.
Well, that's
so.
the cool part about it is it's the cinematography very well done.
Is it better than Ford versus Ferrari?
Yes,
Okay. Wow, that was a pretty good movie.
I mean Brad Pitt is just he's still got it.
He's great.
He could just talk about cars for 2 hours and I'd be strapped in.
When he snaps and he points to Jonah Hill, and then Jonah Hill is just like, he gets on base. It's like, this is the best. I could watch him snap at
So, yeah.
scouts all day.
I'd recommend, and your boy Tom Cruise is at the premiere, so
Oh,
stamp of approval. That's all
Okay.
you need.
all right.
But yeah,
Well, good stuff, man.
enough about us.
Let's get into it.
We are back, and Forex markets rarely sleep, but they were sleeping over the weekend.
Okay.
And they're still a little groggy if we can hop into the platform. Big movers of the morning. We've got my favorite, U.S. dollar, Swiss franc, still getting hit.
Bouncing around.
Down to the tune of almost 0.25%. We've got USD JPY also moving lower. US dollar weakness continues. Man, nothing can save us. It appears that way.
We're gonna get a bounce back at some point.
This is
It feels
Canadian
like
dollars,
It
the one
feels
where
like it could be this week. Man, that's a pretty wild move there.
we had some buzzer beating price action here to end the week on some tariff related headlines. Canada no deals. Trump so mad. They tried to tax.
Trump's mad at Canada.
They tried to tax our tech. We said no. And now I think deals are back on the table. So short-lived,
Okay.
but you got some unique prices if you wanted to get short down here. Got a much
We've
better.
started to see some range, even though, yeah, like U.S. dollar, those prices that you just showed for U.S. dollar are not good. We've started to see some back and forth at these dollar lows. And yeah, CAD here, you got down to 136, up to 138 for literally, I don't even know if we touched it there early part of last week. Right back down below 137, getting close to 136 again, middle part of last week, and then a pretty nice bounce. So you're getting some back and forth at these lows. And even, I mean, as we were talking there, I was looking at the prices, and it's even looking like this morning that dollar yen and dollar Swiss franc, it looks like they were lower just a second ago, a couple minutes ago. And so it'll be interesting to see if they start to bounce around as well, because these are closer to the lows for the last, like week or so of trading. As you can see, a different hourly chart than dollar CAD in here. Now, granted, 145 was actually the high in this market for the last couple of months until we ripped up to 147, 148. So we'll see. Dollar pretty firm in this yen market again. It seemed like we were threatening 140 a couple of times for that April-May trade. And now, since they got up to 147 plus last week, it'll be interesting to see if they can take this market down below 145. But the Swiss franc of it all, that is obviously one of the weakest dollar markets in here. And yeah, actually no bounce in this market whatsoever. This is the daily chart. Yeah,
Yep.
we're trading below 80, and man, yeah, they haven't since we broke this, going back to, it looks like last Thursday, no bounces.
Zero. But I feel like we've been talking about the same story for a couple weeks here, so why don't we hop over to some slides, because
Sweet.
we have a segment here that could be more actionable for everyone involved, as opposed to just looking at some sliding charts. Today we've got, begs the question, when is the best time to get long the US dollar? Because, in your words, US dollar getting smoked right now. Here we're looking at the daily chart year to date in this euro dollar market, and from the lows we are up over 13%. The euro is against the dollar. That similar trend across the board here, especially European currencies, but across all major currencies, US dollar not doing so hot. And over the long term, as we know, a lot of FX markets tend to be more mean reverting than any sort of positive or negative drift over time. So that's the background here as to why we're looking into it. And what did we do to look into it? We looked at the past 6 years of price data, looked at 30-day trading periods, and we analyzed the major pairs, euro, pound, yen, Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, Swiss franc, and New Zealand dollar.
Wow.
So we looked at all of those popular US dollar pairs, and we came to some interesting conclusions looking at the average returns over those time periods. So looking at the past 30 days and what the next 30 days would look like. And we filtered the data to get some interesting results here after down moves, looking at the largest underperformer, and tried to find some historical trends here.
Before getting into the data, I do want to highlight that, of course, this looks like a pretty straightforward study, right? US dollars getting smoked. Why don't we look at not only a handful of ways that you could, if you're a contrarian, get long, if you're a trend follower, get short in all of these pairs, but also let's look at different environments historically for which one you might get long, when you might get long, whatever. Looks pretty straightforward, but you have to highlight the context of this is not your equity asset study, which is, of course, like everybody likes to joke about, like, oh, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. But it's not a joke. It's a sound strategy. If you look at pretty much any amount of data going back the last 100 years in the Dow,
and
in
push
whatever,
out.
whatever equity market, because guess what? It tends to go up and to the right. And so if the stock market's getting hammered, it's probably a good buy. In the long term, in the short term, you go back to 2008, 2009. Obviously, that was a down market for several months, and it would have taken a couple of years to get back to scratch if you had bought at those highs or bought the first dip, whatever. You get the picture. This is different in so many ways because, one, there isn't upward drift in these markets. If you were to look at the average 30-day move in the S&P, in the NASDAQ, in the Dow, whatever, you're going to see that be positive for pretty much any set of time because all those equity indexes are right now close to, if not at all-time highs. The market goes up and to the right, and so the average 30-day time window, 5-day time window, 60-day time window, 90-day, it doesn't matter, is going to be pretty positive. Here, you're going to expect that to be pretty unchanged because put all the data, go to tastyfx's platform and put all the data in your chart for Eurodollar, 30 years, maybe it's more than 30 years worth of data, and you're not going to see like, oh man, back in the 90s, it was trading, 120, and now it's trading 250. It's like, it doesn't drift one way or the other. But also with that, you get mean reversion qualities. And so I'm interested to see which currencies, do all currencies, all these different pairs, or which ones, in what environments do we see that mean reversion the most, which is to say, if the market gets hammered, does it bounce back very quickly? Which pairs does it tend to bounce back quickly? Which pairs am I looking for, a big down move or whatever kind of environment, given those mean reversion qualities. Because this is, at the end of the day, yeah, we're looking at long U.S. dollar strategies in a down U.S. dollar market, but it is kind of an exercise in testing mean reversion in Forex.
100%. So first, just want to give you the backdrop of all environments here. So across all the data we collected over the past 6 years, a lot of unch, what a long U.S. dollar position would yield 30 days later. So a lot of unch across the board. U.S. dollar, Japanese yen, the one real outperformer in terms of positive returns. Now, you could even contextualize this further and say 6 years of data isn't enough for a market like that trended in the U.S. dollar.
Anybody
direction.
out there saying that maybe has never traded in their life.
All right.
Just because, like, the person who's like, well, that's not enough data, or like, I didn't get the exact data that I wanted, is just like, dude, like,
it's all
good luck then.
It's
like,
all history.
Like 6 years, it was 7 years enough? Is 8 years? And it's like, well, actually, currencies have been trading for like hundreds of years, and it's like, I don't know how much data you want. 6 is pretty good, especially for 30-day time windows. A lot, thousands and thousands of data points.
Agreed. And so we're looking at Japanese yen. We're also looking at the Swiss franc, which is the biggest down mover.
And that makes sense. And keep in mind that all these numbers that we're looking at take the long U.S. dollar side.
Correct.
And so that positive 0.08% in Aussie is if you had shorted that Aussie every 30 days for the last 6 years, what the average performance would have been. And of course, if you look at that chart for the last 6 years and scroll out, you're going to see a down Aussie market over that long term, in the same way you're going to see dollar yen over the last 6 years moving higher. Now, what's interesting is obviously that dollar yen, if you were to look the last 6 years, where it was 6 years ago to date until now, it's drastically higher. But the 30-day performance, obviously you get a lot of down dollar yen markets, up dollar yen markets. Same thing with dollar Swiss franc. Dollar Swiss franc right now, lowest it's been the last 10 years plus. And so, of course, the average performance is going to be slightly negative. But yeah, on the whole, you're seeing a lot of unches. But the best U.S. dollar performance has been against those commodity currencies and against the yen.
But what's more interesting, looking at long U.S. dollar after a down move, so when the U.S. dollar is down over the past 30 days, what an average return for a long U.S. dollar position would be. This is interesting to me because every trend we're seeing from all environments, we're seeing just a magnified version of that. So that's quite interesting. Positions against the yen and New Zealand dollar. Yen the same as it was across all environments, but New Zealand dollar double the positive returns there. And we're seeing those European currencies, perhaps can we say longer trends in those markets, because you're seeing magnified losses there. And what else do you make of this?
Yeah, it's a couple of things. One, keep in mind, we're just looking, if the last 30 days were negative for U.S. dollar, what's the next 30 days of U.S. dollar performance? And so what you're seeing here is if Aussie or Kiwi or CAD outperform USD in a 30-day time window, the next 30 days, that USD actually, on average, that's some pretty strong performance, 0.17%, 0.25%, 0.15%. Those might seem like small numbers, but like, again, these are a lot of data points averaging out over the last 6 years. That's some edge in there. Now, when you're looking at euro and sterling and Swiss franc, and the fact that, okay, if the last 30 days US dollar is down against euro, it's down against sterling, it's down against Swiss franc, the next 30 days, it has kind of continued that move. Maybe not the best market to buy the dip in USD.
Agreed. But now we're taking a slightly different lens here, looking at buying the underperforming pair. So if you were to take these 7 markets and look at the biggest underperformer from the US dollar perspective, which currency has appreciated the most against the US dollar in the last 30 days, then that's across all environments, not necessarily US dollar being down. We're getting this rightmost column here, and we're seeing some interesting things there. I've also highlighted that right now, if you were to take this data, you would be looking under this filter, you'd be looking at euro dollar.
Gotcha.
Over the past 30 days, down almost 3%.
This starts to get real. First of all, some of those numbers start to get really big. I mean, that when when CAD is the outperformer against USD, or when that USD CAD pair is the worst performer of some of these major currency crosses that we're looking at, that type of performance on average is pretty strong. Obviously, you might say we get to this case and it's like, oh man, like, okay, so if pound is the outperformer of the group, then I should just be buying pound. I don't know if maybe, but you start to get to a point here where like some of the data maybe doesn't tell a full story in there, especially that Kiwi thing. Maybe that's like a small sample size thing. That doesn't mean so much to me, but it is interesting to see some of these flip to positive, that euro and that Swiss franc, and especially right now where we're seeing euro and Swiss franc being some of the outperformers of these. Historically, we've seen some mean reversion. And again, it's the same as anyone who's looked at, equity sectors or individual equities in their own right. And you might say, oh, the stock market is up 2%, but like tech is up 10%, or healthcare is up 10%, or whatever, and I'm going to look for some mean reversion. Maybe I'll sell some tech and I'll buy S&Ps against it and look for it to come back here. It's kind of the same here, only the pairs are ingrained in themselves, where it's like, okay, the dollar is down right now, but the euro is really up against the dollar, and so I'll short some euro, long some US dollar. Or, of course, you could short some euro and buy some Aussie, or you could just do the short euro Aussie pair in and of itself. But interesting to see some mean reversion when you're looking at the worst performer against USD.
So there you have it. Key takeaways here. Looking at average returns, you see that the US dollar bounces back the strongest over a 30-day time horizon against the yen and the New Zealand dollar. Those European currencies, weakness tends to continue at least over this 30-day time horizon. We tend to see longer slides there. And then that Canadian dollar, when it is the outperformer of the group, tends to have the strongest US dollar comeback, whereas British pound and New Zealand dollar strength tends to continue for the next 30 days.
Some interesting results.
I agree. More to come on those as we investigate these US dollar markets, and more to come today. We've got Tom and Tony back. So stay tuned. We'll be right back on Tasty Live.
Global markets never sleep. Explore them with Forex, now available on tastytrade. Get in on over 80 Forex pairs, 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, with the Forex platform that adapts to your style and speed. FX marks the spot. Trade it on tastytrade.